We're going to answer a question here for one of my viewers. Rodney, this one's for you. Thanks for watching and subscribing and the comment. I love the question. I think what you were asking in the question was whether or not these cars were made completely convexed on every panel. And I believe that's true. I believe that's what they were made. Now, the second part to your question seemed to indicate you were wondering if leading up to the edge, which I think you mean here, did they all of a sudden round in too much? Yes. I actually took a rubber block and set it against this door. Now, this is a door that we believe wasn't worked on, but I put a block on this side. Here, let me open it a little bit so it stays there. I put a big rubber block on this side. You could use pretty much anything. And I took this side and I hit it with one of those hammers with the little plastic Teflon protector on it. And I actually knocked that all back out. There's no filler in the door. We just used our primer and kind of blocked it to the edge of the fender. Now, these cars will come in, stop, and then come out again. What you can do for that, this edge also rounds in quite a lot. The original metal that I could find on this car, when we took the filler out, they rounded in pretty heavy. So what you could do, once you get where your door is straight and you're happy, you can cut the inside and you can pull it out, but not all the way, just a little bit, weld it back shut, fill this with filler, run filler, I'd say right around that line forward and come into the door. And then you'd block straight across together and then file that out at the end. Now, the reason I say that is what you're going to do is create the muscle car effect where the door comes in, matches the quarter, and then there'll be a gentle taper back out. So that'll give you the Coke bottled fender to the door. And up here, these are also convex, but for some reason, there is an area here that's almost straight, and then it goes round, and I did check both sides. I also, you can't tell because there's not much of an edge. We put quite a bit of, when we primed this, we shot 2-3 coats on the edges because I knew I had to fill them out a little, and we blocked them out a little square. There's a bit of an illusion on this car. We didn't take this car to a crazy level, but there's no reason that you can't run your filler across both panels. I'd come right up to this area here. And again, we're talking thin. Now, go ahead and put it on thick. Like, don't try to add and add. You end up putting waves in. Put it on fat, start here, go back to here. Block that right in together, right into the door. You're going to end up with almost no filler, but what it'll do is this will become one convex. And you'll get rid of that weird little taper in at the edges. Because, yeah, the fenders all had that. If you look right here, when we blocked, you can see this. Well, there's probably 3 layers of primer here. Now, we could have had this come out much better by filling that right in. You would have had maybe a 1/16 of an inch here, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'd have a real nice car. And then you're talking like, what you're getting into with that is a little bit of show car, which if this was my car, I'd 100% do that. A couple other things I'd mention. I don't know if the rockers are this way stock. I noticed a lot of videos, these cars have that little tip out. That one might be a little bit more than normal, but even the best of the best ones I've seen at shows, they kind of look like this one. I think you can see that there. Just that very tip has a little tip out. And I think what happened with this car, you can see where the panel goes in and then the rocker, and I think that should all be out a touch. You'd have to split that, pull it out, and re-weld it and match it all up. And maybe from the factory they may have run straight, but someone clearly did a patch panel here, like they put a new rocker in. It could have been cut off a car, could have been a remanufactured. I don't know. I know it was done in '74, so someone from that time could probably shed light on that. I wasn't alive yet. This piece here, when they did whatever they did with the bottom of the quarter, there seems to be a patch that stops from here to here, but the bottom was done. And my thought is they probably did 2 pieces and they pushed it in too far. The old thinking was shove stuff on far because things weren't perfect anyway, and then we'll fill it out to make it better. Where today we want less filler, a little bit of metal work, so by all means, Same thing here. When we cut all the filler out, we saw that there was a round end. So right here, it tapered in. This door tapered in. The front of this door. Now this door still has a little bit of taper. Just this particular car, there's some welding in the fender. I can't move the fender to match the door, so we left a bit of a taper. It's a little bit of a cheat. This is a satin black car. That's why we're not too worried. If this was going to be colored, we'd have to do some work here and bring that fender out, whether I cut it and pull it, whatever it takes. We would also do the same thing, fill it from probably this line. I'd probably come back on an angle and I'd fill this all the way down, right into the door, about a foot and a half. I'd literally block right across the whole thing. Now I did videos, if you go back about a year ago, on a 69 Sport Satellite, and we basically blocked the quarters, but we also blocked them into the door, and we blocked the doors into the fenders. The whole car is blocked. I think I've got a 68 Firebird that I did in white. We did a lot of correction on that car, and some of that stuff we blocked in, and it wasn't a restoration. It was similar to this, but not as bad. There was some errors that had to be repaired from years ago, and then we gave the car a repaint. But we did go ahead, we lined things up, and I blocked them in. Just because the car was so close, I was able to do so. But the Roadrunner, or the Sport Satellite, I show how that's done pretty good. But it is what it is, and you're absolutely right. These cars, I believe, were made like that. And I'm sure there's Chevy guys out there, Tri-5 guys, or guys that do a lot of 50 stuff. They'll know more than me about that. But I believe the manufacturing at the time, it was as simple as, like everything was made a little bit round. And the reason why, when you stamp it round, it's stronger. You don't get tin canning and all this. So it wasn't just a style. It was also about making it cheap, but making it tough. So by rounding everything out, it actually worked to their benefit. Now they called these a shoebox in 55 because look, there's kind of a square outline. But even though they call it that, everything is round. Now here's where you'd run into an issue. If you want a curve in this fender like so, and you want it to be flat to the door and flat into the rear quarter, that could be tough. And the reason why, let's grab a little ladder. Your quarters are kind of fat and they come out quite a bit. And I don't know if I'm catching that on camera, but they taper out quite a bit. And I mean, this isn't a car that has big hippie quarters, but they're hippie enough that to get this straight to match the door and the front fender, you might have to put quite a bit of filler in. And that's why I say, if I run a straight edge here, there's a little bit of light, like a 1/16 of an inch. That's why I say you could block right across. But back here, the fact of the matter is the door is tipping in, and then this fender tips out, and it just continues to tip out. So you'd have to, like I say, do the muscle car thing, block it in. You're going to have a little hip. I think that's the only way to do it. Now, it doesn't mean you can't cut all the panels off and reshape them and run them flat. I just think that would be a lot of work. I don't think it's the best way to go about it. And I do think you want to kind of create that. You want to retain the body shape and just make it better. The fact is, I think in 55 when they did this, I think they were going for that shape, and they did it the way they knew how. They couldn't quite get the front of these quarters the way they wanted to because, you know, the muscle cars did, but we're talking, you know, 66 and later, right? 10 years after these cars. So like anything else, the longer they do something, the better they might get at it. You wouldn't know that by the modern stuff now because, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't think these ran perfectly flat across, if that's your question. I'm pretty sure that they intentionally bubbled out. Like you can see the door and the quarter bubbles way out past the door. And I know you said in the video I kind of went by too quick, so I'm going to try to capture that. But you see the same thing here. Like I can come right in and there's more quarter than door, right? It's a longer panel. So even if the convex is roughly the same, or the crown, I guess you'd call it, Yeah, that fender's way out. You'd never, like if you made it straight across. Now there was some cars in the 40s that were kind of like that. I think Hudson and maybe Packard, they had some of those boxy cars, and you could almost follow it straight down the side. But it doesn't have this look, right? You totally lose that look. So just my 2 cents. But I appreciate the question in the comments and the subscription. That was really cool. You should throw up a video of your car. I'd like to check it out. If you do, let me know. And yeah, no, good luck on what you're doing and on your restoration. These cars are really cool. I do a lot of muscle cars, and I gotta say, after doing this 55, I wish I could find the exact same car at a good price and build my own. You know, French the headlights in, do all the cool stuff. I'd totally go custom. But yeah, really cool cars. If you get one going on the road and you can drive it, you're winning. And if you make it look good, you're winning twice. Cheers.